Good morning, everyone. This is Stevie Aisha Mills, also known as the Sheepreneur's Best Girlfriend, and my brand is all about empowering, motivating, inspiring, and educating sheepreneurs so they can go to the next level of greatness. I like to equip you with the tools to succeed, and today we have a phenomenal guest who is going to be teaching us how to make our customers the people who are going to be our brand experts and our PR professionals. So definitely believe that if you have a customer, it is much easier to keep a customer than to get a new customer. So definitely want to introduce you to the phenomenal Denise Mock, who I believe is a customer service guru. She knows a lot of great things, and she will be sewing into your lives today. So get excited, get your pad, get your pen, and make some great things happen. Denise, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you. It is such an honor to be with you and your group today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I am honored. Just the stuff that you've already told me when we were offline, it's going to change people's brands and businesses. So definitely want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you. My name is Denise Mock. I have been a life and marketing coach for over 5 years. Before that, I was a therapist. Therapy wasn't my sweet spot, so got out of that, went through a life transition, and found a coach that changed my life. So that's what I decided I was going to go back to school and do. So went back to school, became a coach, certified coach, and I love women, just love women. I love marketing, and probably have been a student of people for a very long time. My passion is actually to put an end to bad customer service and, of course, helping women be successful in the process. I love helping entrepreneurs, small businesses, nonprofits, and even churches get more referrals, increase revenue, and retain the customers they love. So that's what I'm all about.
I love it. And we know that customers are absolutely important to your brand and to making your business right. Tell us, why are customers, besides the obvious reasons, why are customers so important?
Well, I mean, without customers, you don't have a business. I mean, I think we all went into business because hopefully we were passionate about solving a problem. But I think we get into business and we get sidetracked with, how we're going to pay our bills and who's going to pay this invoice. And, oh, my gosh, we get customers who, don't respect themselves and don't respect other people, and then we get into all the nuts and bolts of business, and somehow or another we forget about the customer, and then when we forget about the customer, then, we forget the whole reason we went into business. But if we don't take care of our customers, then they're not going to stick around, and then the whole reason we went into business goes out the door because we have our customers are our business. And when we forget to treat them the way we want to be treated, then, they find someone else to do business with.
Yes, ma'am. So what is your top retention hint for keeping customers?
To be totally honest, treat people the way you want to be treated. When you have, of course, I believe in systems. I don't believe so much in strategies, but I believe in systems. Planning to walk a customer from the time they enter your business and then creating a system to actually retain them. That's what I believe in. But I think, the top retention strategy is treat them the way you want to be treated. And I think that starts, especially for those of us who have employees, I think you treat the employee the way you want your employee to treat your customer. I think it's pretty simple when it's just, an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a sheepreneur to the customer. That's fairly simple. But I think when your business grows and you begin having people who represent you, or you have employees, or you have VAs, or you find these other people who are helping you deliver customer service, I think that's when you really have to be intentional about your processes to make sure that the people who are representing you are sewing good stuff into your customers too, and that there's no cracks, between your processes. So that would be my one thing, basically treat the customer the way you want to be treated, bottom line.
That's good. The golden rule.
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
Yes. What are you most passionate about in regards to your business?
It comes down to putting an end to bad customer service. I live in the South. Stevie, you live in the South. And we are known for hospitality, but I think we've gotten really lax in what we accept as a customer, and I think that laxness, creates mediocrity. And I think when you treat your people like a number, they return the favor. And when you treat your customers like a number, guess what? They return the favor. And so we've got a lot of customers who have a mindset, okay, I'm going to find the cheapest. I'm going to find, what can I get for the cheapest amount of money? But there's a great amount of people who are looking for people who are going to do their job well, who say hello and good morning and how can I help you and really mean it versus, basically whatever your last experience was when you walked into Walmart. I think my passion is to see a flip in that. And I almost gave up on this whole idea of customer service because, I was like, what kind of difference could I possibly make? But if we don't do something, we accept what's happening. And for me, I see a whole generation behind us who, just the basic courtesy of manners. So somebody's got to do something. And I don't know that I necessarily going to make that big a difference, but hopefully this movement that I believe in will make a difference.
That's good. That's good. And I believe in being a catalyst to change, and you're definitely a catalyst to change. So the fact that I believe that people should pursue their passions, and your passion and your purpose will be life-changing, and that's where your business comes from. So definitely applaud you on that. Now, who is your ideal client?
I love women. I've had some men who've come over, and I'm glad to work with them too, but I really love entrepreneur women who have a great purpose to, it's like you said, go out and change the world. I love women entrepreneurs. I love small business owners. I enjoy working with nonprofits and churches. So basically, my perfect client is really anyone who wants to create a system that's going to be intentionally there to serve their clients, who really want to serve other people. I've got some people who come to me from time to time, and they just want to make money. Those are not my perfect clients. Although my clients make a lot of money, they're very successful. But if you're not really geared and you don't have a passion for serving others, we will not work well together. I have a mission to serve people well and to serve big. And my clients have seen that customer service is the key to their success. Put the systems in place, serve your people well, and guess what? You don't have to worry about retention because they come back. They stay.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, it's something about a woman who is an entrepreneur because, some women don't like taking risks. So if you take a risk to be an entrepreneur, then you already are doing some great things. The next question we have is, what is one fun fact about Denise Mock?
I absolutely despise mashed potatoes. I do not like mashed potatoes, but I love practical jokes. That's a fun fact.
That is fun, especially with Thanksgiving a couple of days. I'm sure it's going to be some mashed potatoes on some tables, but you'll be staying away from them, right?
Yes, ma'am. I do not do mashed potatoes. I love potatoes any other way, but I don't know. It's just the consistency of it. I don't like mashed potatoes. But I think I'm the only girl on the planet that doesn't like them because my family loves them. All of our extended family, I'm just the only one. So more for them.
Yes, yes. What has been your most teachable moment in your business?
To be honest, it's totally surrendering to God. I think for a long time I've done a lot of things in my own strength. I've always had a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. And when I became an entrepreneur, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that God had put a passion in me, and I wanted to be different. In fact, our pastor says, whatever drives you nuts is the thing you might be called to solve. And I struggle with that and struggle with that and struggle with that. But really, when you find your misery, you find your ministry. And I think surrendering to what he's called you to do and believing and trusting him that what he calls us to, he equips us to finish. I think it comes from 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old is gone and the new has come. We do not have a new thought that doesn't come from God. Like everything that we have and everything we do, and actually surrendering, I think for me, that teachable moment is surrendering my business to him and having my morning business meeting with God and letting him orchestrate. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is the person I'm supposed to serve, and not being tied to the results, because the results is up to God, but just to truly serve people, whether there's an economic benefit in it for me or not.
That's good, because, it says your gift will make room for you. So in your room, there will be finances, and there will be all the things that you desire in life. So I definitely think that's a great answer. Who are your industry icons in business? Who are some women in business that you're like, I like her, and that's who I get my motivation from?
Really, to be honest, I go back to the Bible. I think there are lots of women in the Bible. I mean, Mary, Ruth, Naomi, there's just lots of women, who are in the Bible who took great risk, and they stood out, and they were different, and they were talked about, and, those kind of things. As far as the women here, obviously my icon, in my industry, Shep Hyken is at the top, Of course, he's a guy, but, he's a customer service, person, customer service guru. Love Dave Ramsey. Once again, he's a guy. But there are lots of women who surround these guys who make them successful. Their wives, the people who, I just believe that all of us need, people to support us. I think we can do more together than we can do alone. When you look back at the Bible and you look at Mary, for instance, if she didn't have a support group, she wouldn't have survived. Even though God had called her out, if she didn't have, the opportunity to have some godly women around her, she would not have, had the courage to do this different thing that God had called her to. So, for me, when I look around and, and I have to be careful because in the past people have been idols for me. And so God has removed people that I put too much trust in. Not friends, not confidence, but just people in general. So I have to go back to God and say, okay, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to do it? And sometimes, being an entrepreneur is lonely. But I just learned that, we have to have support from godly people. For me, because I'm a Christian, we have to have support from godly people, godly women, godly mentors, godly coaches, people who just have a heart for God, who can help support you and where God called you to go.
Great. What is the most common mistake that you find that entrepreneurs make in regards to their customer service?
You've heard me say this already, treating people the way you want to be treated, but I really think another big one for entrepreneurs especially is getting vision and mission mixed up and not carrying their vision throughout their organization. When we have a vision, it's that thing that God has placed in us. Vision and mission. Mission is how you do it. Vision is that thing that should carry out your entire business. Okay, why did we start this? Why are we doing this? How does it line up with our core values? Your leadership, your training, everything needs to fall back under your vision. And you really have to do a reality check. Okay, is this my vision? Because a lot of people like to chase shiny objects in their business. Oh, let me do this. Oh, I've got a nonprofit right now that I'm working with. And it's like chasing shiny objects, whatever looks new and whatever is the brightest, and let's try this, no, let's try this. And really the vision should govern your organization. Okay, this is why we started, this is what we're about. I'm not saying that your vision has to stay the same. It adjusts and it grows, but pretty much your vision should run your organization and should be carried out throughout your entire organization. And, of course, the other thing is not doing the basics well. Because when I walk into a business and instantly my customer service radar goes off, oftentimes it's not doing the very basics. Whether it's greeting or, serving. Sometimes we get so caught up in the processes that we don't do the basics well. So those are probably, the biggest common mistakes I see. But still, it still goes back to treating people the way you want to be treated.
Yes, that's the foundation. And I want to take the time, there may be some people on the line who actually have customer service-related questions for you, and I want to make sure that they get those answered. So if anyone has a question for Denise at this time, please do let me know. Okay. All right. I know at the beginning you were telling us some things that vendors can do, and that was before we actually started the show. But I wanted to have that on the show as well, so that because a lot of people are doing vending activities and vending events. So I want to make sure, the time for the holiday season is coming up. What can we do as vendors to shine?
And I think as you do trade shows or you have vendor opportunities, whatever your business is, I think put yourself in the place of a customer. As a customer, how would I like to engage with my business? If you do jewelry, then obviously you want to make sure that things are displayed. But like you said earlier, Stevie, I think being able to stand on the other side, hey, would you like to look at this? Would you like to try this on? Whatever. One of my favorite things to do at vendor shows is, like I said, do something to make you stand out from everybody else. One of the worst things that I see as just somebody walking through is everybody's behind the table, they're sitting down, they're playing on their phone. They don't say hello, they don't say good morning, they don't say, hey, I'm so glad you're here. I mean, it's just the simple things. They're more about, a lot of times the biggest mistake I see in vendor shows and that kind of stuff, people get discouraged and then they shell back. It's kind of like people who hide behind computer screens instead of actually broadcasting their business and getting involved in their business. I see a lot of people online hiding behind their computer, and then when they have the opportunity to actually step out on the other side, it's a little uncomfortable. And it is uncomfortable sometimes to stand and always be engaging people. But you only have one shot. You only have one shot with that customer, and you're probably never going to meet them again. And then even if they don't buy anything from you, engage them in some way. Hey, how are you? What made you decide to come to the show? What have you found that's interesting? Obviously I'm a question. I have 1,000 questions and can create another 1,000 questions. But I'm a student of people, and so I love to know why did they come, what made them, decide to check us out, what's the most interesting. But the tips that I tell my clients and the people when I've actually hosted trade shows for people is do something fun. Give something away, but, to actually create a memory so that people are associated with you. Obviously, fun is one of my core values, so you're going to hear me say that. But because it's one of my core values, when people come see me and I'm at one, I want everybody, that's the place to be. We play games, we take crazy pictures. We've done all kinds of stuff. But when people think about the trade show, they don't think about everybody else. They think about my booth. And so when they see me, that was so much fun and, whatever. So I think, when it comes to trade shows and that kind of make it, for me, obviously, know your core values, but also feel like, set it up as though you're a customer. What would you like to experience? Be on the other side, not totally the serving side, but what would you like to receive? What is it? What kind of experience do you want it to be for your customer? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's good. And two things came to mind when you were talking. And one is definitely want to make sure that we as sheepreneurs and hepreneurs and entrepreneurs as a whole, we are making sure that we need to keep the service side in customer service. I don't think people have much trouble following the customer side because, we're in business to make money. So I think the customer side we have. But the service side, like you're saying, is to serve. Your business should be a service to other people. And one more thing that I wanted to also share is that I think one of the greatest things that I've heard is, like you said, even if you don't make a sale at that vending show, connect with the other vendors. Connect with the other vendors. You don't know how they might serve you or how you might serve them in the future because they might know about future shows or they may need your product or, networking is key to any business. So definitely want to make sure that we are doing the things because this is the holiday season. And as we grow and develop, we want to make sure that we are always doing what we need to do in our businesses. And as we approach 2014, what do you think we should take in mind? What should we leave in 2013 as business owners and take into 2014?
Are you asking me that question, Stevie?
Yes, ma'am.
I think always leave fear behind. in 2013 and plan for greater success. For me, I think, being able to say, look at what I've accomplished in 2013, but always, for me, serve bigger, dream bigger, do more. I think we only get one chance around this, planet. And I think, obviously, my passion is to leave a legacy that makes a difference. And I can do that the more intentional I am and the more on purpose I am to each day. So I think a lot of times entrepreneurs are so busy getting ready for the launch, or they're so busy working, in their business, they don't work on their business, or they're so busy working on their business that they don't work in. It's not an all or nothing. It's how can I make the next 86,000 seconds matter? And I think for me, leaving fear, all the stuff that keeps us stuck. Stevie, I'm sure you hear that from tons of clients. It's, I don't know how to do this, and I don't even know how to do that. You know what? Just do it. And see every mistake, quote unquote, as an opportunity to learn to do it differently. But I think the biggest thing that I see in a lot of my clients and the people that they serve is they never get off the bus. Heck, sometimes they never even get on the bus. They're so busy getting ready that they never do the things that they're called to do. So what if I make a mistake? You hurdle it, you learn from it, and you get to the next thing. So for me, in 2013, is getting beyond myself, learning to trust God in my business, and making 2014 the best it can be by me stepping out and doing the thing that God's called me to do, not waiting for the perfect client, serving the people that he sends me, because we never really arrive. When I got a full practice, I was like, finally. But you know what? That it wasn't a finally. I was still evolving. And I just think that when we wake up in the morning, for me, and I'm ready to serve the people that God has given me to serve, it's a success. When I wake up in the morning and I'm all, what if I do this and what if I don't do that, and and we're not intentional about what our purpose is. I think, Stevie, that's why I love so much of what you do, is because you're all about helping women find their purpose and actually fulfilling that purpose. For me, being an entrepreneur, we don't ever arrive. We never go, wow, now I can settle down. It's okay. Now it's the next level. What are you going to do? How are you going to step it up? And for some people it's about money. For some people it's about making a difference. For some people it's about vacations. Everybody has a different definition of success, but please define it so that you know whether or not you've hit it or not.
Yes, and that's great. And I thank you for the compliment that you said during that time. I definitely tell people all the time, I say, God has already written your biography. So with that, all you have to do is follow it. You just have to keep turning the pages, because God custom designed and preordained us to be here. So we already know, he already knows the future of where we're going. And I think sometimes we try to be in control and take God out of control. For those who are kingdompreneurs, as I call them, we try to take God and put him in the back seat. But as a front seat person, we have to always remember that he's in control. So you just relax and you go on with life. And as a person who has a go-getter spirit, like I do, it's kind of hard sometimes to remember that, but it is key. Once you do that and you have peace and patience in your life, then you're able to accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. So definitely want to give people one more time to answer or to ask any questions. We have a few minutes left with Ms. Mock, and we have to have you back on the show, Denise, because you're awesome. We need this as a daily, weekly, monthly reminder in our businesses, how to treat our customers. So does anyone have any more questions before we end?
Hi, Stevie. This is Virginia. I just have a question about how do I encourage the vendors who participate in the Small Business Shopping Expo as vendors to do some of these things that you're talking about?
I think when you can help them see the results of doing it, I think moving beyond themselves and their comfort zone is going to be the first thing. But I think having a conversation with them and say, okay, do you want to be successful? Do you trust me to be successful? And then define what success would be like for them. Plan for it, because if I know that I need to make 4 sales today, I know what I'm measuring. But I think a lot of times we just want to make money, or we just, a lot of times if you know, okay, this is my target, you work harder for that target. I'm real big about, what's your goal? How are you going to measure it? How's it going to make, how's that going to happen? What are you going to do to make that, make that goal? But obviously my goal, is sometimes the intangible stuff, actually serving people. And so at the end of the day, I have a little checklist I go by. But basically in that kind of environment, how many people did you talk to? How many interesting people did you talk to? Setting them up to be successful is, if they're just there because they have $1,000 worth of inventory they're trying to push, they're not going to do very well.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're there with the mentality that, hey, I want to meet 6 interesting people, their whole paradigm shifts. Does that make sense, Virginia?
Yes, it does.
And then, okay, how am I going to be? How can I set my booth up to be the most engaging? And it is a little out of the comfort zone, but I love to meet people. Well, the only way I'm going to meet people is for them to want to engage with me. For them to engage with me, I've got to be different than everybody else. So I do all kinds of stuff. I play games. I make sure that I have stuff to give away that doesn't have anything to do with my product, which Stevie may say is wrong as a branding expert. But I used to work for Chick-fil-A. I did all their marketing, and I'm sure you're probably familiar with Chick-fil-A. And so we used to give away milkshakes because it benefited us, because when they came to buy a milkshake, they also came and bought something else. Or if we gave away cookies, they would come and buy a Coke or, whatever. There was a great return on that investment. But in Chick-fil-A, we not only counted transactions, we counted the price of that transaction. We counted, how many people actually took what we gave them, and we counted everything. But I think with your vendors, actually, sitting down with them and building a relationship with them. What is it that you want? Okay, well, I need to clear $200 from the show. I want to get my investment back. Let's say it's $150 a table, and they want to get their investment back. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? So I tend to look at the end result and work backwards.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And like you were saying before, a lot of the vendors, they just sit behind their table. They don't even look up to say hello to anybody, and then they get mad at me because they didn't run their business. I'm like, well, you can't do that. I set the events up, but you have to run your business, especially when I have, 10 to 20 vendors. Each person is responsible for their own customer service.
I really think a great visual for you is at your next event, take your video camera or your smartphone or whatever and videotape what you see. They don't think that they look the way they actually look.
Okay.
Like if you were to take a video camera and and just say, this is how how engaging is this? Nobody's going to want, excuse me, let me interrupt you from playing on your cell phone.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to want it, and none of us can push our business more than us. We can't expect other people to run our businesses.
Exactly.
But if you want it, you've got to show up, and that's why I tell my clients all the time: if you want it, show up. But people sitting behind a booth and expecting you to be responsible for how they do, that's like me being upset with McDonald's and I'm at Chick-fil-A. I'm expecting Chick-fil-A to give me a Happy Meal. They don't make Happy Meals.
Right.
That's the same kind of insanity. And, the thing about it is that they're willing to – that's where, on the flip side, that's why when we host things, I give them all a kind of a 101. If they don't come to the 101 event, then they can't be a vendor.
Mm-hmm.
But if they'll come to the 101 event, I basically walk them through the same, probably the same spiel that you give them. And it's not a do's or don'ts. It's like, you know what, this is a 101. If you do this, you'll be successful. If you do that, you will not be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, too, just reminding them, okay, if you were a customer at your booth, what would you want to experience?
Right.
Sometimes the product sells itself. Sometimes your product is that good, and most people are familiar with your product, but you have to assume that no one is familiar with your product, and they've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Whether, it's jewelry or makeup or, whatever it is, a service.
Right.
Like for me, most people, and I don't know, Stevie, you probably get this too, like 80% of people act like they've never heard of a coach before. I mean, 80% of people don't even understand what an entrepreneur is. That's kind of, so I have to lead with the expectation that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I give stuff to silent auctions all the time, and I have to be very, most people don't even have a clue. So I make my product, the thing I'm giving away, I do this big basket and put all kinds of stuff in it because most people don't get what it is I do. But, this past time I had a silent auction this weekend. I wasn't even there, and it was the first thing to sell. Because, people, it was the most expensive basket there, and it was the first one to sell.
Mm.
So, it's just you've got to engage people, and you've got to go in with the mindset that no one has ever seen this before. Which is difficult because, most of us know what Chick-fil-A is. Most of us know what McDonald's is. Most of us know what Mary Kay is. Most of us know what Avon is. Most of us know some of these brands. You've got to make sure that you communicate what your brand is. Because people don't do business with brands. They do business with people.
People. Mm-hmm.
And even before that, you have to make... Go ahead.
Miss Virginia, is that helpful?
Yes, it is, and I've been taking notes, and I will definitely share this with the vendors. We have an event coming up this weekend, and I will definitely share this with them.
Yeah, I think for them, they've got to get out of the seat behind the table and realize I am responsible for my success. And approaching their business as a customer, okay? And maybe role play. I don't know. Most adults don't like role play, but actually let them know what you experienced being on the other side of their table.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, what I would do if it were my event and it's not, it's yours, I would actually, have somebody come in and, engage them as kind of what I call a mystery shopper and give you the feedback.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Have somebody who has, is a friend of yours and intentionally have, give them 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, and I'll be glad to send you the basics. I have a book on Kindle you can go pick up called Serve Big.
Okay.
But if you want to, shoot me or connect with me on Facebook or whatever, and I'll shoot you kind of the basics that you could go over. And if I can find it, I'll send you my 101 checklist if that would be helpful to you.
Okay.
This is what being a sheepreneur's best girlfriend is all about. I always have things for my sheepreneurs, and this conversation has been priceless. The value that you just shared, Denise, is going to take businesses, not only Virginia's business, not only her vendors' businesses, but also the businesses that could be birthed from the customer. You could have a customer coming in on this weekend who has been going back and forth on how to, if she should do a business or how she should do the business, and just because of the excellence that she'll see there, then you can inspire that woman, and that's what it's all about to me. So definitely want to give you, Denise, a chance to give your information so that people can connect with you, and then I have some last-minute things that I need to say, but definitely, Denise, it's your turn to shine and give your accolades and your contact.
Wonderful. It has been so nice to be with y'all this morning. And you can connect with me at denisemock.net, Denise, D-E-N-I-S-E, Mock, M-O-C-K.net, N-E-T. I am on Facebook. Basically, if you go to denisemock.net, you can connect with me on whatever your favorite platform is, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, whatever. That's where you can connect with me. And for all of the people that are on this call, if you will connect with me online, I'll shoot you over a copy of my book for free.
Woohoo! I'm getting a free book. I love it.
I know, right?
Just go into my website, denisemock.net, and leave me a contact. Just leave me your email, and I'll shoot you over a copy of my book for free.
Woo! All right.
And that would be a great, Virginia, that would be a great, just check to, kind of checklist for you to work through with your vendors. It's not a very long book. It's not going to take you that long to read it, but it's more written as a workbook. But I think that would be a great tool for your vendors to just kind of make sure they're doing the basics well.
Okay. Thank you.
Wow. I love it. I feel that I've been empowered, motivated, inspired, and educated, and that is my mission to do that for others. So if I feel that way, I'm sure that everyone else feels that way who will hear this and hear also the playback. And it's just phenomenal to know that we have someone who we can reach out to for customer service, because sometimes we are busy being an entrepreneur, and we don't look at, oh, I shouldn't have said it this way, or I shouldn't have done it this way. So we need that person. I appreciate Denise for being that person, for being so willing to share and to sow into other sheepreneurs. I have made a commitment in December to prepare and propel you guys to the next level of greatness. And every Saturday in December, we are going to have sometimes to connect you with other chic sheepreneurs. I call the women who are guests on the show chic sheepreneurs. And they're going to just empower you, and you're going to have a foundation and a platform to launch forward. In January 2014, we're going to take off running, so I have to get you prepared. That's my job. December 7th, 2013, 2013, you'll be able to hear. We're going to do a teleseminar that is called The Business and the Best Man, What a Perfect Marriage. And everyone who's seen The Best Man and wants to be in business or wants to inspire to be in business, to be greater, this is the call for you. Because The Best Man, whether you've seen the movie or not, hopefully you will have seen it by then, it has some teachable, marketable lessons in it that I looked at. I looked at the promotion, and I'm going to pour into you on how you can have the perfect marriage in your business. Because there are some things that some people may have missed, but I'm always listening and listening again and analyzing, and I picked up on some things. So December 7th, 2014, at 10 a.m., we're going to be able to do that. December 14th, 2013, we are going to take you on a journey through some chic sheepreneurs who I had the privilege of moderating a panel this last Saturday at an event. And these women are phenomenal. They're going to pour into you, going to tell you their hearts, tell you where they came from, where they're going, and where they are now. And it's going to be phenomenal. You want to be connected. You don't want to miss a minute. So definitely want to have you on that call. You stay connected to StevieAishaMills.com, StevieAishamills.com, and also on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you follow me, because you need to be registered for these calls. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We have 2 more, but we'll talk about those closer to those dates. December is going to be magical. It's going to be, you never know what I might come up with. I might do a flash telesummit and do something myself and so into you ladies. But I want to have you where you need to be in January. I'm always here. We also are giving away petite sheepreneur strategy sessions where we'll sit and envision you, help you envision your vision, help you to just go where you need to be. So definitely want to get you where you need to be in 2014 because it is your time and it is your turn. You are great. You are wonderful. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. You all have a blessed and wonderful day.
Thank you, Stevie. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you. Thanks, Stevie.
Thank you.
Have a great day.